Yes, guys, this is the 10-week update from the Dubai journey. I've been in 10 weeks, which blows my mind. I mean, it feels like, in many ways, it feels like yesterday that I landed. But at the same time, it just feels like it can't be 10 weeks. It's so much has happened. Like so much has happened inside 10 weeks that it feels like it's been much longer. So it's this weird kind of confusion, this juxtaposition of, it's gone like that, but equally it's an incomprehensible amount of things that have occurred in these 10 weeks. Probably one of the busiest, most full-on periods of my entire life, which is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going back to the UK on Thursday. Today is the time of this filming. Today is Monday, and I'm heading back because it's my son's birthday on Sunday, and we're celebrating his birthday party on Saturday, and I really cannot wait to see my family, to see Freya, to see Wolf, to see my stepson Dominic, my family, my mum, dad, brothers and sister, and a load of friends. Everyone's meeting over at our house on Saturday for a big barbecue, which is going to be wicked to celebrate Wolf's birthday, and I can't wait. And I've come into this week feeling really grateful and really excited and just full of joy, and I'm really looking forward to getting on that aeroplane, and landing and heading over home, and just that initial, I can't wait to squeeze Wolf, my little boy. It's going to be insane. I've never experienced being away from him for 10 weeks. So yeah, that's really fueling me this week. Looking back, it's almost unrecognizable, the emotional state that I was in when I landed. You have to imagine when you land in a new country and start a new life. I remember distinctly the sense of like zero stability and zero certainty and needing to get 1,000,001 things done. And, I didn't even have a place to stay. I was in Airbnbs, a couple of different Airbnbs for the first, it must have been 12 days or so, whilst I was trying to find somewhere to actually live. And the way I kind of eventually consolidated that fear and anxiety in my mind initially was like, okay, well, no man can go out and hunt if he hasn't got a home to go back to, right? You can't focus on hunting and gathering and achieving and succeeding and making an impact and all these things when you don't even have a home. And I remember that major stress that I was experiencing at the time where I wanted to get out and attack my mission, but I felt so unstable and uncertain and lost and confused and overwhelmed. That's the word I'm looking for. Overwhelmed with just not even having a place to live and not really knowing, my bearings or anything, not having a daily routine, not having systems and structure in place in all of the areas of life that I wanted. And if I compare that to now, my goodness, so much has changed. And now I've been in this apartment now for 7.5 weeks. I love it here. I'm in JLT. No, I'm not. I'm in JBR. I stayed in JLT the previous times that I'd stayed here and in the Airbnbs. But I'm in JBR, Jumeirah Beach residence. And I've really settled in now and found my rhythm. And just comparing those early days, stepping off that plane and being like, right, here we go, let's figure this out. Obviously, I knew the mountain that was in front of me, and I knew that it was going to be a serious challenge, and nothing worth having comes without any challenge, right? But it's wild to think that I got through that. And that's not me being self-congratulatory. That's just thinking it's amazing how in life, you always get through it. Those hardest times, you always get through them. The uncertainty, you always figure a way out. And I was reminding myself of that during the time, but let it just serve as a reminder in case you're going through anything tough right now. It will pass. You will get through it. And simply because you don't have a choice but to figure that thing out, right? And so being sat here now in the comfort of an apartment, of knowing what my daily routines look like, understanding my work, understanding my mission, my objectives, having set up that cadence with communication with home and all the rest of it, having that stability that I have now is just a completely different emotional feeling, much more grounded feeling than that which I had when I stepped off that plane. It's a stark contrast. In terms of the growth that I've seen in the last 10 weeks of being here, I'm actually really proud of what's been achieved. Since landing, I've established a great network, or I'm definitely in that process. I've met some really good people. I've established my living location. I've established my work regime. I've established my client base. It's growing. Actual UAE local resident people here are working with me now, which is fantastic. I've really rebuilt my back-end social media machine, and I'm really proud of the fact that everything that I'm doing at the moment is mission-led, and it's been mechanized. I think the big missing piece inside my business in the past, in terms of getting to where I want to get to, which is to have a real global positive impact, the missing piece in terms of building that machine has been to mechanize every single process on the back end of my business, specifically my social media output. And I'm really proud of the fact that I now have really clear systems in place, and I've shown with consistency over the last probably now 5 weeks, a systemized approach to creating huge amounts of very valuable, highly valuable content across 4 platforms. So, in the past, if I was lucky, I would post a single reel or content piece to Instagram on a daily basis. That did slip a little bit for probably a good year or so, where it would be maybe 3 or 4 times a week. But since coming here, I now produce 3 reels on Instagram, 3 YouTube shorts, 3 TikToks, 3 Facebook page posts, and I've just got that's on a daily basis. And I just got into the process of a YouTube long form every other day, high value educational content primarily, plus these Dubai mission updates. And so what that's doing is it's really expanding my reach. It's really expanding the ability for me to build new relationships. The relationships are translating to people inquiring, people joining my program, people joining TitanShift, which I want to talk about in a minute as well, and a new side element of or an entry point element to my business. And I've seen growth across all my platforms. So, Instagram steady, a couple of thousand new followers in the last 5 weeks of this new mechanized approach. YouTube has gone from 1,000 subscribers to over 5,500, which I'm so happy with. My Facebook page, my business page, went from 1,000 to I think it's now 8,000. And TikTok is gradually climbing by a few hundred, maybe 1,000 now in the last few weeks. It's just not really picking up momentum yet. But all this to say that new people are discovering the valuable content that I'm posting. New people are being inspired by the educational content, by the motivational content, by the mindset stuff. And that's really positive. And that's just in 5 weeks. So I'm really proud of how that mechanized approach to my social media is really paying off. And it's brought me some fantastic opportunities and clients. Even in as much as I've started now also consulting with other individuals, business people who more so than, or rather outside of the fitness space, they're looking at how I'm approaching things, and they're approaching me regarding mentorship inside their businesses. They're looking at, they want to understand more closely, like, Julie, how have you done this with such composure? How are you staying so calm? How are you managing your emotions? How are you systemizing and mechanizing your day in terms of your work output, in terms of your training, in terms of how you approach your food, in terms of how you manage your energy, in terms of how you prioritize your tasks, in terms of how you reduce that noise and improve that time focus on the signal events? And in terms of business people have been approaching me asking for means for which I can help them in optimizing their day-to-day approach to running their business and managing their relationships. And that's really, really cool, because that's become a highly bespoke ancillary to my fitness business. And it's great to work with really high output business people. Got a couple of guys, so one guy in AI development, another guy in real estate. Just brilliant to meet these people who understand the message, who have been inspired by what it is I'm doing out here, and being inspired by the idea of going for more, approaching bigger projects, having that bravery and conviction to pursue a bigger project. And so that feels great. That's a huge win for me. Also, the clients that I brought on here from the UAE, fantastic. And it's just little seeds that are being planted, little communities that are building, and the business is growing. Another major win is I built out, over the last few months I've been building this, but I completed and built it out. I built out my entry point, my group coaching program, TitanShift, which is my group page for men who are looking to make massive transformation physically and mentally. It provides everything from training structures, done for you training structures and programs, done for you nutrition approaches and actual programs as well, a community, Zoom calls on a weekly basis, and multiple chapters and modules for skill acquisition and everything else. Are really, really well received, and the members that I've got onboarded in the last few weeks are raving about it. So we now have this group coaching where I can really have a big, more kind of widespread impact for those people that want to get entered into the titanium ecosystem, who are looking to massively transform their physiques and mindsets. And then, on that subject, in terms of how the mission has evolved, I've gained such clarity on what I'm supposed to do and exactly what my outcomes that I deliver are. I've always been focused on physical and mental transformation, but I've really managed to hone what the problem is and what my solution is, and really tailor it to a highly complex thing, to a very simplified input, process, output. What I've learned and what I'm seeing everywhere is the fact that this problem that exists today of men really suffering from low confidence, waking up depressed, not having any real sense of direction, the cure to that is to build a phenomenal physique and a bulletproof mindset. And all of my content is geared towards educating, inspiring, motivating people to make that behavior change and to make that identity shift to become a man who knows he can, and a man who has much more physical capability and mental fortitude to actually go after the life that he was born to live. And the content is designed really to shake these guys up who have that voice in their head, who are like, I should be more, I can be more, I can be doing more, I can be contributing more to society. And it's just great to see that that's resonating with the right people. People are getting on board with it, people are inquiring, people are joining my program, and I really can lean into this because it's so purpose driven. I literally want to create an army of men who are that much more physically and mentally capable, because a more physically and mentally capable man can give more, he can contribute more, he can be happier. And when he's happier and his cup is fuller, he can give more, he can pour more, whether that's to his immediate family or his wider spread community. And that feels good, like to have a mission that can have that much of a positive impact in changing the individual's life, but also the lives of those that he's in contact with. That's what this is all about. It's about creating absolute phenoms of men who can have a phenomenal impact in their little circles or wider circles too. So it's been great to be in an environment where these sort of visions and ambitions are actually facilitated, where people, don't look at you funny for having these bold ideas. A major upside to being here at this point in time, although it's really shitty not having my family here, like the ability to actually knuckle down and focus being that absolute multiplier of output. I've probably multiplied my focus and output by 4 at least by having this absolute kind of laser beam focus when I get down to work. And that's been mega. So I think in the last probably 8 weeks now, since I've actually been 7-8 weeks since I've been in this apartment and had my base settled, I've probably done 6 months worth of work, and that feels good and that feels productive. It's work that I'm proud of and work that is moving in the right direction. I've sharpened my skills, my marketing skills, my sales skills, my coaching skills. I've massively upgraded my coaching program as well. We now have 2 Zoom calls inside every single week for clients that they can get access to, so for more face-to-face contact. The relationships that I've been building with my clients as well has seemingly taken another leap upwards. I'm getting a lot more focused time with my clients, and I'm getting a lot more referrals, which is just always the best sign. So yeah, like business it's really moving in the right direction, and it's really not been without challenge. You may remember in a previous episode, the biggest curveball that I met actually, and it's kind of what forced me to rethink my mechanized approach to social media. The biggest challenge that I faced, the curveball, was when I got here, my social media reach just completely tanked. And a lot of what I have built out has been in response to finding a solution and evolving that solution to reach a new level. And I want to just take a moment to talk about that, because I think there's a really important lesson here, which is I encountered a major curveball there. I literally came to Dubai to build my brand and build my business and expand my, really expand my vision and build on that, right? And a huge tool towards that for me is my social media, obviously, right? That's the quickest way to reach as many people as possible. When you come to Dubai, or at least this has been my experience, my social media reach completely tanked. Like a reel that would normally get 100,000 views was suddenly getting 2,000 or 3,000. It's ridiculous. So I had to come up with a new system, and I had to kind of beat that. And I still haven't beat it yet, but I'm giving myself the best odds, and I'm seeing growth beyond which I did before, even with less reach, because I really had to truly focus in on what was the message. I needed to be more consistent with that message, and I needed to learn how to create content in a manner which was sustainable at a very high level of output. And that's what I've been forced to do. So it was a case of, how do I go 10x on this shit, right? And by the way, that's a part of my working philosophy that I'm a huge proponent of, is actually assessing the correct level of action to achieve an outcome. Read or listen to 10x Rule by Grant Cardone. It's quite an old publication now, but it's one that I always come back to. And since being here, I've probably gone through it 4 times already, legitimately 4 times. It's something that's always playing in the background. That shit resonates with me. So it really comes down to high work ethic, high output, matching the level of actions with the outcome, and the assumption that in the majority of cases, people actually tend to underestimate the necessary amount and intensity of actions to achieve a result. So that's really, that problem led to me massively upgrading my approach. If I came here and I was posting and everything was flying and it was like, this video went viral and this video got me 40 leads and this, would I really have had the need to evolve my processes? No. And so we're only kind of 5 weeks into this new mechanized approach, and we're seeing results. And I believe that in business, you need to give things 90 days. A 90-day cycle really gives you the results, really gives you the data that you need to make any fair assessment. So yeah, for those of you that have been following me on socials, you'll see that my output is consistently high. It's hitting, like I said, 3 content pieces a day plus a long form every other day. Over 4 platforms adds to quite a lot. What does that even add to? It's like 3 times 4 is 12, times 7 is 84, plus the long forms every other week. 90, call it around 90, 85 to 90 content pieces going up every week. So if we keep it really simple, call it 80 times 4 in a month, 320 content pieces a month, roughly speaking. It's quite a lot. So yeah, it's reaching the right people, which I'm really, really happy with. I usually start on the bad things or the challenging things and then go on to good things, but I'm doing it in reverse this time. I won't lie, guys, there have been some really, really low lows in these last 10 weeks. Times where I've had no shows for calls, where I've missed the last metro, where my card has just for some reason expired, and something that I learned is the electronic cards here expire at a preordained period of time, and I've been screwed and left there trying to figure out how to make a payment for a taxi journey. I've had moments where I've not been able to connect with friends or family because I've been absolutely in the trenches trying to figure shit out with business. I've had moments of just desperately missing Freya and desperately missing Wolf and just wanting some home comforts. And times where I've been like, I'm doing all this work and what am I getting for it? Like, where is the return? When am I going to see an upshift here? When am I going to see something back for all my output? And there's been times where I've just been like, what the hell am I doing? What am I actually doing? And in those moments, I just lent into this whole idea that, look, the obvious one is if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And two, if it's easy, it's not going to invoke any level of growth. Growth happens during the hard times. You need to experience challenges to grow. And every time I really felt myself up against it, I just kept telling myself in quite an aggressive manner, like, good, fucking lean into it. Lean into it more. Make it harder. Come on, what else have you got? And I kind of fight back in quite an aggressive way. That's how my mind works, these sort of things. I found myself almost inviting more hardship because I started to directly correlate it to the growth that I need in order to get to the place that I want to go. I really believe that the level that you want to get to has to be earned through dealing with challenges that you have yet to face. New success comes with new challenges, and equally, to achieve new success, you must endure new challenges. And I really kept that front of mind. So to bring this back to the mission, I'm out here to build my brand, and in doing so, build the life for my family. I really want to get my family over here as soon as possible. I predict that I can get them over here, fingers crossed, inshallah, as I say over here, inside the next 6 months. Hopefully springtime next year, I can bring them over. And that for me just means getting established. And it all comes down to really building my business and building my brand. And the North Star, the entire purpose behind Beyond Building the Life of the Family, the entire purpose behind the business is very much to provide a solution to men who want to become more. There's this massive, I call it a pandemic, of men who just lack direction, who wake up feeling down, dare I say even depressed, anxious, stressed, unsure whether they're on the right path, questioning their actions, questioning whether they are capable when they know deep down that they are. And I believe the cure to all of those things is to build a phenomenal physique and to become mentally bulletproof. In becoming mentally and physically awesome, you can fix a lot of these internal troubles. And that's what I want, because ultimately these men, you make a man more physically and mentally capable, he can contribute more. He can bring way more to those around him, his family and his wider spread community in equal measure. So that's the mission. That's what we're here for, to really build the Titanium brand, to really double down, to deliver a supremely high quality of service to my clients, TitanShift to bring people in, to build a community. And yeah, that's what it's all about. So if you've been watching these updates over the course of the last 10 weeks, there's one core thing that I want you to take from all of this at this point in time. And that is that I strongly encourage you to dare to fail, to take a leap of faith. Because what you'll find is you throw yourself into the deep end, you will be surprised at how adaptable you really are. And the reality is it's only these extremely challenging scenarios, situations that you find yourself in life, which are going to change you. They're going to force evolution. And so best case scenario, this daunting, crazy big task that you've been flirting with for so many years, that you finally take a leap of faith on, arguably worst case scenario actually is that it turns out to be exceptionally fluid, easy, straightforward, and you excel right off the bat. Best case scenario is it's way harder than you expect, and you're faced with way more challenges than you expect. But have that knowing deep inside that if that goal is purpose-driven, if there is real meaning behind what you want to achieve, if it's super important to you, then you'll adapt. Why? Because you don't have a choice to. So the limiter of your progression, the limiter of your growth is how big of a challenge are you willing to endure, to face up to be tested by? Because you will pass the test. Think about it. Like, get yourself in a situation where failing just isn't an option, and you will figure out a way. You will raise your standards, you'll raise your output, you will raise what you demand of yourself on a daily basis, and you will double down, triple down, and you'll get the job done. So I know those of you who've been invested in this process, you're ideas people yourselves. You've got things in the pipeline, there's things you want to be doing, and my real kind of message here to you guys is, I dare you. So yeah, guys, at this point, I just want to say thank you for following along with this journey. Genuinely, thank you. I've had some lovely messages, people that have been keeping up to date with these updates. it's been amazing. I really appreciate it, and I've really started to get a sense of community here on YouTube, especially from those who are following this journey, who've been inspired by this journey so far. It's still super early days, and at this point, I'm just really excited for the next chapter. I cannot wait to get back to the UK, spend some time with the family. I can't wait to see Wolf's expression when we finally get to embrace. It's his birthday party this weekend. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to catch up with friends and family. And yeah, it's needed. I'm feeling that little bit of Dubai fatigue. It's just been full on, back to back, 18-hour days, constantly back and forth. Fully focused on work, which has been amazing, but I'm looking forward to just that little bit of rest and recuperation, let the dust settle a little bit, re-strategize, and then when I come back, it'll be a roughly, must be like 16-ish week sprint until Christmas time. So yeah, the mission is far from complete, but it's been a hell of a first 10 weeks. Really grateful now for the challenges. I know there's going to be more. I know I'm going to be tested. I can't even imagine what the future is going to hold in terms of trials and tribulations and victories as well. Fingers crossed, inshallah, as they say. And I'm here for it. So thanks again, guys. And catch up in the next one, which will be in the UK. Maybe I'll be able to get some footage from the weekend's birthday celebrations. Cheers again, guys.